6 reasons why narcissists feel threatened by a healed empath. Have you ever noticed how a narcissist can handle your pain, your tears, and your endless attempts to fix the relationship, but suddenly feels uncomfortable when you become calm, confident, and emotionally free? The moment an empath heals, something changes inside the relationship dynamic, because the person who once reacted emotionally starts responding with awareness and strength. A healed empath becomes the one thing a narcissist struggles to control. A person who no longer depends on their approval, validation, or attention. Today, we will uncover the 6 powerful reasons why narcissists feel threatened by a healed empath and why your transformation can become their biggest emotional challenge. Before we begin, remember that this video is for educational purposes to understand relationship patterns, emotional behaviors, and personal growth. A narcissistic person often feels comfortable when they can predict your reactions and influence your emotions through different behaviors. When an empath is wounded, they may constantly explain themselves, seek understanding, and try harder to prove their love. But healing creates a completely different version of the empath who no longer plays the same emotional game. The first reason narcissists feel threatened by healed empaths is because they lose their ability to control their emotions. In the past, a narcissist may have used criticism, silence, guilt, or confusion to create an emotional reaction. They might have expected you to chase them, defend yourself, or become desperate for their attention. But a healed empath begins to recognize these patterns and stops giving automatic emotional responses. Instead of reacting immediately, they pause, observe, and choose how they want to respond. This emotional control can feel frightening to a narcissist because their influence over you starts disappearing. They can no longer create chaos and watch you lose your inner peace. The second reason is that healed empaths stop seeking validation from the narcissist. Many empaths naturally have a strong desire to understand others and maintain harmony in relationships. Because of their caring nature, they may spend years trying to prove that they are worthy of love and respect. A narcissist can take advantage of this by constantly moving the goalpost and making the empath feel like they are never enough. However, after healing, the empath realizes their value was never determined by someone else's opinion. They stop asking, "How can I make this person love me?" And they start asking, "Does this person treat me with the respect and kindness I deserve?" This shift in mindset removes one of the strongest tools a narcissist uses to maintain power. The third reason narcissists feel threatened is because healed empaths develop strong boundaries. A wounded empath may tolerate disrespect because they believe patience and love can change someone. They may excuse harmful behavior because they focus on the person's potential rather than their repeated actions. But a healed empath understands that compassion does not mean accepting emotional harm. They learn that saying no does not make them selfish. They understand that protecting their peace is not an attack against another person. When boundaries become stronger, narcissists often feel challenged because their previous access to your energy becomes limited. The fourth reason is that healed empaths can see through manipulation more clearly. Before healing, an empath may question themselves whenever a narcissist denies their feelings or changes the story. They may think, "Maybe I am being too sensitive," or "Maybe I am the problem." But emotional growth creates awareness and self-trust. The healed empath begins recognizing patterns instead of getting trapped inside them. They notice when someone uses guilt, blame shifting, or emotional confusion to avoid responsibility. This awareness removes the mystery that once gave the narcissist power. A person who understands the game becomes much harder to manipulate. The fifth reason narcissists feel threatened is because healed empaths stop chasing and start choosing. A narcissist often feels powerful when someone constantly tries to win their attention and affection. The constant pursuit can create a sense of importance and control. But when the empath heals, they no longer feel desperate to hold on to someone who repeatedly hurts them. They become comfortable walking away from unhealthy situations. They realize that losing someone who damages their peace is not the same as losing something valuable. This new independence can deeply challenge a narcissistic person's sense of control. The sixth reason is that healed empaths become a reflection that narcissists cannot easily ignore. A healed empath represents growth, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. Their calm behavior can highlight the emotional struggles that another person refuses to face. When someone stops participating in blame, drama, and unhealthy cycles, the entire relationship dynamic changes. The narcissist may feel uncomfortable because they can no longer hide behind the old patterns. The healed empath becomes a reminder that change is possible, but only when someone is willing to take responsibility. This is why some narcissistic individuals may try harder to regain control when they notice someone has transformed. They may attempt to bring back old memories, create emotional reactions, or test whether the empath is truly different. But a healed empath understands that returning to an unhealthy cycle is not the same as finding love. They know that real connection requires honesty, respect, accountability, and emotional safety. The biggest transformation happens when the empath realizes they do not need to defeat the narcissist. They simply need to stop abandoning themselves. Healing is not about becoming cold, angry, or revengeful. Healing is about becoming so connected with your own worth that manipulation no longer controls your choices. A healed empath is powerful because they no longer need someone else to complete them. They can love deeply while still protecting their own emotional well-being. And that is exactly what makes them feel threatening. To someone who depended on their confusion and insecurity, the narcissist may have been comfortable with the version of you who questioned your value, but they struggle with the version of you who finally knows it. Your healing changes the entire dynamic because your energy is no longer controlled by fear, guilt, or the need for approval. The moment an empath chooses self-respect over self-sacrifice is the moment their power returns. And sometimes the strongest message you can send is not an argument, not revenge, and not proving your point. Sometimes the strongest message is becoming the person who no longer needs to convince anyone of their worth. If you found this video helpful, remember that healing yourself is the greatest investment you can make. Because when an empath heals, they do not become someone else. They finally become who they were always meant to be.